I would like the ship to go. Now.
So, in a week where we got one of the best Star Trek finales ever, we also got a Strange New Worlds trailer. And I'm going to take a look at it. As always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review, so let's get to it. So yeah, I'm surprised that this dropped before the finale of Picard. I thought it was going to be tagged on at the end. But hey ho, we know the new season's coming and it's getting a third one as well. So what's going on in the trailer?
Together. So many crew members.
Well, quite a lot. Most of these Star Trek trailers tend to show the majority of the clips from the first 3 episodes with a few later ones thrown in. But we certainly get an idea of some of the adventures the crew of the USS Enterprise are going to go on in Season 2. So straight away we get Ortegas because she never got her own episode in Season 1, remember? So maybe a sign that she's going to play a bigger role in this season. It's already been confirmed that she's getting her own standalone episode. So I'm really looking forward to that because I really enjoyed the actress who was playing Ortegas and her performance in the first season. We also get number 1, who seems to have escaped her fate from the end of Season 1, so that cliffhanger of her going to jail, she's not going to jail. I mean, we see a clip of our classified Starfleet documents, but yeah, kind of ruined that. What's the point of building it up just to show her in the trailer? And hopefully she does get more to do this season as well, because they just wrote her out of every episode as quickly as they could, let's be honest, last year. And it's not all old characters. We get the new character, and that's the new Chief Engineer Pelia, played by Carol Kane, who I'm sure will be appropriately quirky, let's just put it that way. And looking at this trailer, the first thing I noticed, because as I said, it came out a couple of days before the finale of Picard, is this show is so bright compared to Picard, and completely tonally different. The way the characters talk and interact with each other in the world is just a million miles away, not just 160 years. At least that's what I think.
Energy. What? It's making me sweat.
But back to the trailer, we see Spock with the Klingons. So the Klingons are back, and it's more the classic look Klingons. They've not touched them in Star Trek over the last few years except for Worf. And they learned their lesson because my god did that Discovery pilot ever come back to bite them in the ass. Now, I think there might actually be some hidden significance between this scene of Spock and the Klingons. I mean, imagine if one of these guys is the future Chancellor Gorkin. You know, the guy from Star Trek 6 that Spock had a dialogue with. I would like to think that this is the start of a history between Spock and Gorkin, or Spock and the Klingons, but I don't think the writers are really up to the challenge of even considering that, let alone executing it. And as I said, it's the old school looking Klingons, and we've got an old school Klingon looking ship. I think that's a D6 or a D7 ship. It was kind of hard to tell from the angle, and I'll be honest, Klingon ships aren't my favourite, so I can't really remember them all. And they're not the only familiar face back. The Gorn are also coming back this season. We get a close-up between one of them and Khan. We also see Gorn ships are surrounding which looks like a destroyed Federation or Starfleet vessel later on in the scene as well. And Spock and Chapel appear to be stuck, or at least trying to escape that ship, so it's probably they've went to investigate it and they've got stuck on it when the Gorn's shown back up. We also see Uhura, who it sort of seems has been in a shuttle crash, but I actually think this is some sort of fantasy, because if she's been in a crash, her uniform looks pretty clean and there's not a scratch on her. I'm sure she mentioned that her parents died in a shuttle crash in the first season, so maybe it's some sort of flashback to that, because, you know, trauma trek, let's be honest. We also see a bunch of action shots seemingly on Strange New Worlds. There's been a lot of debate about which planets these are on, if they're Klingon outposts. Some even think they might link back to the Cage. There's also a few scenes with the Enterprise where it appears they're outside normal space because there's no stars, at least none that you can see. I seen a really good theory by Trek on the Tube that the Enterprise might actually be shrunk, because it does have that sort of Ant-Man quantum realm feel a little bit to it, but I don't know, they're not really giving away any solid plot points in this trailer. And of course, we get Kirk back because we knew he was coming back, and you know, I'm not a fan of the new Kirk, certainly at least from what they've seen. And it's not much of a shock because we knew he was coming back even before he appeared at the end of the first season, thanks to some set leaks. So it appears that him and La'an are going to somehow go back in time to, it looks like, around about our present. And there's going to be shenanigans because they don't understand stuff because they're from the future. They're probably going to feature or mention Khan as in the Khan. And they're also going to have to address how later on Spock and Kirk don't mention that they've got any association with Khan when they encounter them in Space Seed and later on in the Rafa Khan movie. So yeah, how are they going to address that? Is it going to pay off? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think it is, let's be honest. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this Kirk, and remember it's probably Lieutenant or Lieutenant Commander Kirk at this point because the last episode of Strange New Worlds was set in the future. But it appears from what we can see it's going to be more of the flavour of Season 1, but there's quite a lot in this trailer that's not there. We know that Lower Decks and Strange New World is getting a crossover, so there's none of that featured, at least as far as I can see. So we've got that to look forward to. Also, how does Cybok fit in? That was a sort of cliffhanger from Season 1 that doesn't appear to be getting mentioned anywhere in this trailer as well. And I've just got to go on record and say I hate the music that they used for this. It was that song that was in that Zach Braff movie, Garden State, and it's a terrible cover. But the main thing that I took away from this trailer is, as I mentioned, how different it is to the Picard show. And I think that's what Star Trek is going forward. They're trying these different flavours of Trek. So you've got the light-hearted Strange New Worlds, the dark Picard, the kids stuff for Prodigy, the bit more adult humour with Lower Decks, and they're probably going to go for the young adult market with this new Starfleet Academy show. That's what I think, at least. But I want to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Did you really like this trailer? What are you looking forward to seeing in Strange New Worlds Season 2? And how's it going to hold up after Picard? I'll be covering this season in full as always, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And if you've made it this far, please leave a like on the video as well. I've got a load of Star Trek videos to come between now and then. Star Trek Picard, Strange New Worlds, Trek theories, you name it. So turn on notifications to subscribe so you don't miss it. And as always, thanks for watching. My name's Al.